Hello, let's talk about JSON format. Let's see what is JSON. JSON, this is JavaScript object notation, is an open standard file format and data interchange format that uses human readable text to store and transmit data object consisting of attribute value pairs and arrays, or other serializable values. This is commonly used data format with diverse uses in electronic data, including web application service. JSON is a language-independent data format. It was derived from JavaScript, but many modern programming languages include code to generate and parse JSON format data. This is most common use case. This is web APIs, configuration files, data exchange between applications, serialization, deserialization, data storages, commonly even SQL databases, NoSQL databases, Cassandra, Couch, Google Cloud, Spanner, Cosmos, Cockroach, and also Elasticsearch use it. File extension is JSON. Official MIME type is application JSON. This is for web applications. Plugins, let's see plugins for VS Code, because for all IDEs we have a lot of plugins. I would like to use JSON. Let's review what is JSON. JSON analysis, counter count. What is JSON tree? Settings, set auto refresh, right click, modify name, different. This is a beautiful JSON. We can open JSON and pressing some case we can beauty it. Let's install and review what we see inside. Open folder and yes, this folder, this one, and let's review in examples. We can have in resources and we can see ban loans. Let's see what we can do with it. JSON, where it is, a bit JSON, Ctrl Shift and G. Okay, Ctrl Shift and G. Let's see, Ctrl Shift and G. Done. Let's try to see bigger example. Ctrl Shift and G. So yes, you can see that is beauty or JSON. So that's another issue. JSON is JSON converters, like JSON to TypeScript, JSON to XML, I suppose, JSON to YAML, to CSV, a lot of viewers, YAML JSON, and of course we can find these links. JSON beauty you can find in different sites. So let's see, JSON formatter, also fix JSON, and JSON after formats, different extension we can find. Let's see what site view. Let's continue with our let's talk about white spaces and rules. So white space is allowed and ignored around or between syntactic elements. For specific characters are considered white space for purpose to space, horizontal tab, line feed and carriage return. In particular, the byte order mark must not be generated by a conforming implementation. JSON does not provide syntax for commands. This is important, but how we can define special k value pairs like k command 1 and string to as value. A couple of important rules to note. In JSON data format, case must be enclosed in double quotes. So let's see, this is k, this is value. The k and value must be separated by a colon symbol. Here is separator. There can be multiple key value pairs. Two key value pairs must be separated by comma symbol. No comments. There are some special formats, variation of JSON, JSON-S, JSON. I forgot a little, but a lot of different format you can find which extend or JSON format. There are possible commands, but I describe you a method to add additional k, probably command 1, and as well you can define your commands. Let's talk about data structures. There is string. String is used in this way. The number is used in, this is simple number, this is floating point number, they both are number. Boolean data type is true or false. Values object, here it is, we define k for object, limit separator, and in braces we define our object, and it hits k value pairs. We can also have array. Here is syntax for array, we can define it, and we can have null value. Here is k and null value. Schema. JSON schema is a vocabulary that you can use to annotate and validate JSON documents. This is very important and very useful to maintain specific JSON formats. Schema. After you create JSON schema document, you can validate the example of data against your schema using a validator in language for your choose. Here is our links. You can read about schema and how to use step-by-step guide for different languages, programming languages like Java, Python, etc. Here is simple step. We need to define schema. Here we defined what is. Here is schema link, ID link. This is should be your example. Instead of example comp, you should define your URL, title, type object, then properties. And we define properties and we have description. In this there, then we define type. This is one property. The next one is product name. we also define description type, and here is price property, and here we also define exclusive minimum, and also we can have tags, and here is type array, for example, and items should be have type of string, and minimum in times we defined and unique and make it unique, probably like set data structure. And here are also dimensions like type object properties. This object, it has properties length, type, width, length, width, and height. Required, we can define that they all required. There's warehouse location, we describe ref, and required to product name, price. Here for our object, required product name, price, and product ID. And then we can validate our JSON. Here we have product ID, product name, and price. So it has all required values. And then we can validate different properties by our schema. So next, let's talk about JavaScript. This is a parent language for JSON data, and here some examples how we can work with JSON object. We can JSON data into a JavaScript object load. We can use parse for it function, and then we create our variable. Then we can convert JavaScript object to JSON data. Here is our object. We use stringify. For array, here also example for array, we also use stringify. And we can store and retrieve our data from local storage set item, and we can retrieve data. Okay, this is common mistake to call a JSON object internal a JSON object. JSON cannot be an object. JSON is a string format, so you should remember it. The data is only JSON when it is in a string format. When it is converted to JavaScript variable, it becomes a JavaScript object. Next, we parse. This is how we can get some properties from JSON object. Here it is, and how we can iterate through properties. Next, here is examples for Python language. Here is table where I defined JSON data type and data type in Python. String to string, number to float, number integer to int, converts boolean to boolean, null to none, object to dictionary. This is important. Dictionary, not object, but dictionary. Array to list, array to tuple. Here is some examples to how to read JSON. Here is our JSON, and we have imported JSON library and use read mode to load this JSON file. Here is write example. We define and here we open file to write in write mode and JSON dump. Use here JSON load, here JSON dump, and here is a file which we will get. Next, let's look at some examples for Java. JSON converted string to string, number to number, boolean to boolean, null to null, array to list, and object to map. The most popular are JSON, JSON, JSON.io, and JSON. Some libraries, and here are some examples how to use. Here is JSON, faster XML JSON color, and here we have string. How this is important to understand how we use escaping double quotes with a string. This is a string with double quotes inside, 1 backslash before each double quote to indicate that it's part of the string, not the delimiter. So here are some example how we can use faster JSON, faster XML JSON. Here we use mapper. We read value. This is string, and we map to class it. So then we check JSON. This is Google library, which we can use also. Here we use JSON to JSON function, and we serialize object. Then we read from JSON, deserialize using JSON string to class. Next, JSON.io, Cedar software, and here we use JSON writer, object to JSON, and JSON reader, JSON to Java. Here we use cast. So here are can be exception, I suppose. JSON, we use serialize and deserialize function. And also we define class. Here are next I would like to about Java examples. Here all of examples are in examples. Here is folder. The second folder is Spring. How we can use with Spring. Well, let's talk about annotation for faster XML JSON. The most important annotation is JSON property. We add it to property and define name. Has more important value than this name. So if we have name A here, but here we have name, JSON in result JSON document will be name. And here is immutable object. This is when we use immutable class without getter and setter. We define under the constructor. Here is constructor we define in old implementation JSON creator annotation, and this is not necessary in modern application, modern version, but we need to define for each property JSON property and name as optional. JSON ignore, we ignore property. For example, if we add under some property field this annotation, it will be ignored in result JSON. JSON property on field, rename properties. This is what I mentioned before. For example, here some examples. Application name will be name. Get application name will be also name. So next, also let's talk about JSON property transform properties. So this is JSON property jobs notation, and we add it under setter method, and here we do some manipulation with our property. For example, this is how we get list, and to map, collect to map, we change map, result map. We also can customize the serializations. Here is simple example. We can define the serializer, then we need to add it to our module. We need to create module. Here we use simple module and add the serializer. Here we define class and the serializer. And what next we can use in object mapper register module. So this is module will be responsible for validation of data time. So next, here's some instruction how to run code examples in my examples package. Here are a lot of examples. We have examples to producing JSON, to consuming JSON, and we can produce by using data bin, API, JSON generator, and string formats. Let's review a little. To use string format, we can format creator generator JSON, but you can see that it's not very comfortable. We need to define each string, and then we put here properties, and we also, if it has nested properties like arrays, we need also create another strings inside. So here are examples. We can use generator. So here also we need to write for each nested object or array additional implementation. The most useful is easiest way to use data bin API. We have object mapper, and we can simply map. Consume, we can consume our JSON using DOM API. We can iterate over nodes and consume our JSON. Here is example how to work with DOM API, and we use we use the roulette here, and I showed here is example. We need to using git bash for Windows users. For Linux it's not necessary because you already have it. And in this folder you can find here it is simple script to create post method and send this file or this file. This is valid JSON for positive answer. This is invalid for positive answer. So it means that you get positive or negative answer based on file. So here also for Jersey, for Spring Boot, we also use the same instruction. We open the same folder, use the same script. For benchmark, we run benchmark runner class. Okay, next let's talk about consuming. We can binding, use binding here, and here is different examples of our loan and classes. Here is also implementation of defining additional module and custom module, and here is also how we can use loan application immutable, how we can consume this application. Here it is, and here we define JSON creator, and here is properties. Here is also how we can use JSON property to transform, and here it is. Yes. Here it is, the bigger priority, and we transform to map. Let's talk about streaming. Here is example how we use. We get token and iterate. Here is example how we can compare consuming memory based on consuming the same file. Here is consuming in block 3, and here is consuming in block streaming. And here is our example. We use JSON parser factory and create parser, and parser we iterate route. And here is our object mapper, we use JSON node. And here is test. We get memory and check how much memory consume each method. Here is consumed in block 3, and if you comment it and uncomment this, you can run this class. Here is benchmark. We can compare streaming and binding, because you can see how many code do you have in streaming and how small code do you use in binding API. It's very useful, but probably streaming is 20% more efficient, so you can run it using benchmark runner class. Here it is. Next, API evolution. So here are examples with different implementation, and you can uncomment and try different version, and you can see how if, for example, if you change input file, here is input file, if we change some field name, or if we add additional field, how it affects your JSON. So you can try each of them and see. For example, binding API very fastly fails if you add additional field. I suppose, maybe I'm wrong, but you should check it. Here is integration to Jersey. Here's controller, and here is runner class where we define our server port, and here you need to also use this here is for JSON instruction. Next, let's talk about IPS. Binding is simple, great. Default choose DOM 3 or DOM generic code that works on the whole document, and streaming have highest performance code and lowest memory consumption. So yes, you probably can see that streaming has lowest memory consumption. And here also some consideration about pros and cons as file format. It pros human readable, a lot of tools, is easy to produce and consume, well understand, and agnostic language or platform. Cons is not schema, but we can define actually schema, but it has some difficulties. Inefficient for large documents, hard to concurrently access. So yes, here are some cons. And additional to my favorite book, I have some JSON problems read about. JSON popularity is mainly due to its built-in support in web browser, so setup, JavaScript, and simplicity relative to XML. The problem are when we work in encoding and numbers. Here are some problems. Numbers larger have a lot of problems. It can be, for example, in Twitter, it can be consumed as number and as decimal string, so it has probably two values. JSON has good support for Unicode, but doesn't support binary strings. So this works. Some schema can be added, but it increases data size by 33%. Optional schema support. Since the correct interpretation of data number strings depends on the information in the schema, applications that don't use JSON schema need to potentially hardcode appropriate encoding decoding logic instead. So, and binary encoding about we can use different message pack, some different formats encoding, but the result is that you can see that it's probably for megapack, for example, 66 bytes, a little less than 81 bytes that in textile JSON. So not very good format for compressing, but for compressing. And here are some utils you can use to this is JSON serve. You can define JSON and it get you some API which you can use to consume that JSON. JSON pretty print and JSON formatter, very useful tools. No, that's all.